To understand how schemas impact our daily lives, we can use the analogy of an iceberg to explore the relationship between our thoughts and levels of consciousness. Imagine navigating through a busy day, balancing work, relationships, and responsibilities, kind of like being the captain of a ship. Suddenly, an emotional challenge or stress comes up. This is your iceberg. The tip of the iceberg, which you can clearly see above the surface, will represent our conscious level of thoughts. These are the intentional thoughts we have throughout the day, like, what should I have for dinner? Or, I need to send that email before I forget. We're fully aware of these thoughts, and they feel completely within our control. Now, just beneath the surface of the water, we have our semi-conscious level. These are the quick, automatic thoughts that pop into our minds without us choosing them, or often even really noticing. Ever catch yourself thinking things like, ugh, I'm such an idiot, or I don't think they like me, without even meaning to? These automatic thoughts are fleeting and less obvious to us, but nevertheless, they still influence how we feel and act. Of course, most of the iceberg is actually hidden completely beneath the waterline. In our analogy, this is our subconscious level, where our schemas and core beliefs live. As we've learned, schemas are the long-standing mental frameworks that shape how we see ourselves, others, and the world. Like the base of an iceberg, which often goes unnoticed, these schemas operate below the surface of our awareness, and they have the most significant impact on our behaviors and emotions. This is because they quietly but powerfully drive our automatic thoughts and emotional responses. It's kind of like a personal algorithm or hidden playlist on shuffle. These schemas quietly dictate the songs of thoughts and emotions you hear in response to life's events, whether you chose them or not. Put yet another way, we can think of our minds like a smartphone. The apps we actively use are like our conscious thoughts, completely visible and intentional. But just beneath that, you've got apps running in the background. These are analogous to your automatic thoughts, quick and less obvious. Then deep in the system are the operating codes, your schemas and core beliefs that influence everything without you realizing it. Now let's see how this plays out in our everyday lives. As we go through life, we experience all sorts of different situations, some positive, some neutral, and some negative. However, the same event might affect people in completely different ways, depending on their unique schemas and core beliefs. For example, sometimes opportunities arise that can change our path in life, but how we react depends on the schemas influencing our perspective. Imagine you're offered a promotion at work that comes with greater responsibility, or maybe an opportunity to start your own business in a promising market. Ever been in this kind of situation? If someone has a history of success, mastery, and achievement, and related schemas and core beliefs like, this is a fantastic opportunity to grow, or I'm ready for this challenge, they'll likely adopt a growth mindset and feel excited and confident. On the other hand, if someone carries maladaptive and self-limiting schemas like dependence or failure due to past struggles with achievement and performance situations, they might adopt a more fixed mindset and think, what if I can't handle it? Or I'm not qualified for this. This can bring up feelings of fear, insecurity, and self-doubt. Same opportunity, different schemas activated, completely different emotional responses. Think about a time you were offered a new opportunity. Did you feel excited, or did it bring up feelings of hesitation or discomfort? What might those feelings reveal about your schemas and core beliefs? It's completely understandable to feel frustrated or even stuck when maladaptive schemas get triggered in our everyday lives. After all, they developed as a way to protect you when you were younger. But as adults, they often feel like barriers instead of shields. Our schemas and the divergent pathways they create can arise in all sorts of situations, and the following are just a few examples where maladaptive schemas can lead to negative outcomes. A failure schema might lead you to pause before trying something new, worried about the risk of judgment or mistakes. A mistrust schema could lead to second-guessing other people's intentions and interfere with your ability to be vulnerable enough to form close bonds. An abandonment schema might make emotional attachment feel risky due to the conviction that others will eventually leave. And a subjugation schema can create a pattern of constantly putting others' needs before your own, no matter what the personal cost. In each case, the key thing to remember is that automatic thoughts don't come from nowhere. They are directly linked to the schemas that began in childhood and were developed over time. In fact, they make perfect sense when you consider the past experiences that taught you to expect certain outcomes or events. But it doesn't mean those beliefs have to hold you back now. Most of the time, our schemas stay hidden below the surface until something happens that activates them. A specific life event can trigger them, shaping how we interpret and react to the situation. For instance, getting critical feedback at work might activate a defectiveness schema, or an unanswered text from a friend could trigger an abandonment schema. These moments can feel disproportionately intense because they're tapping into deeper, older patterns of unmet emotional needs. But here's the good news. Even if these schemas feel automatic and beyond your control, they're not completely set in stone. Think of them like apps you can update. They may have come pre-installed, but with the right tools, you can gradually revise their code and make them work for you, not against you. Once we become aware of these schemas and start working with them directly, we can begin to reshape the patterns that no longer serve us. This opens the door to growth, healing, and creating new ways of responding to life's challenges. Remember, the first step is simply becoming aware of these patterns. With awareness comes choice, and with choice, you have the power to reshape your story, shift from automatic reactions to mindful, adaptive responses, and create a life that feels more aligned with who you truly are and want to be. Just imagine, what if you could start recognizing these schemas as they arise, pausing before they take over? Think of how empowering it would feel to choose a new, more helpful, and life-affirming response to steer your ship toward calmer, clearer waters. Understanding this iceberg analogy is the first step in recognizing how schemas shape our current lives and how we can begin the journey of transforming them.